Frank, you forgot to hit the go live. And I'll just quickly and welcome to Take My Advice. I'm not using a gift balance with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News, CNBC News, and NBC Sports Radio Station, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Amazon Music, Tiki Live, Rumble, and more. And why so many places? And if you are thinking that you are hearing a repeat, you are. We went live one place and not live the other. So, but in case you came in late on the AM FM side, you know that you are here listening to a show about hope and happiness. No gossip, no scandal, no K words, no Kanye talk at all. Instead, I want you to focus on your own reality show and how you can be happy 88% of the time. So I have topics and guests to that end. And today is Monday. Mental Health Matters Mondays, which is a new series that I started this year because I wanted an alternative. The good news is more and more people have lost the reticence or the taboo to talk about mental health. The bad news is a lot of people are grabbing things, food, shopping, smoking, drugs, prescription drugs to alleviate some of their now admitted dis-ease with life and not dealing with the greatest muscle we have in life, the powerful tool of choice. So this Monday series is chock full of Happy 88 tools from my #1 bestseller, 8 Ways to Happiness, from wherever you are, and also from other things that I get to do, one being filmmaker. I found that during COVID. And so we're going to look at the hope that is inspired by PPP, post-pandemic possibilities. And so go get your popcorn. And we're going to, after breakfast, taking a bite of my gratitude sandwich, and we're going to take a look at that short film because it is lots of things to consider, maybe that you haven't in your own life. All right. So let's go to breakfast. And what are you grateful for? So Frank, you're going to have to do some penance here and help with the gratitude this morning. Let's see. I am grateful for the fact that I have a roof over my head, especially when it is raining cats and dogs, kangaroos and koalas outside. We had a flash flood warning yesterday in Long Beach, which was unusual, and that I was inside. And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for the fact that it doesn't always rain, but it is good when it does rain. I'm grateful that I'm solar powered, and so I know that it's sunny somewhere around the world right now. I'm grateful that I get to leave in on a jet plane. I do know where I'm going. I get to go cover a great event of United Natives this week in Vegas. So I leave after the show and get to cover the carpet. I'll be interviewing some really interesting people there and covering a luncheon and a red carpet and then a gala awards. If you are, I'll come back to that and show you some graphics and see if you're in Vegas listening. And I know I do have wonderful listeners in Vegas because I did a book signing there at the Barnes & Noble in Henderson, as well as I was on the Moore Show, Fox Morning Show there. So I know I still have people in Vegas tuning in. So I invite you to go and support the United Natives Foundation. I had Dr. Crystal Lee. I don't know why I want to call her a charity, but it is a charity. Crystal Lee, who was brought on by my Wednesday fabulous co-host, Dr. Tiffany Tate. So UnitedNatives.org, and then I'll come back to that before the end of the show. I'm grateful that I love watching birds fly in formation. It's always a beautiful sight for me to see. I'm grateful that I'm meeting some really neat, different people now that I've started dating, which is always a good topic to laugh about on Thursday's Straight Talk and Friday's Tempting Conversations with Alon. And finally, I am grateful that I really have been fortunate to travel to so many different countries. And I have a map there. You can see I haven't had time to put the push pins in, but one of these days I'm going to do that. And I think I'm all continents except one and over 100 countries. So I'm grateful for that. All right, that's the top of the bun for breakfast. The bottom of the bun is a little different. It is called appreciation. And appreciation is a little different than gratitude, because gratitude is things that are outside of you. This is my definition. And appreciation is things that are inside of you. So what do you like about yourself? And I believe it's my BS belief system that when you focus there, you're going to be able to, wonderful Monday trash trucks, grateful for trash trucks to take away the trash. When you exercise that muscle of appreciation, then criticism doesn't get to you as much. What people think of you isn't that important. You have a solid base with which to see yourself that isn't dependent on people's moods or what you just did. So that's a strong foundational tool in my mind for self-care, self-love, self-approval. And if you can't love yourself, how the fork do you expect anyone else to love you? So that's what we do at the bottom of the bun. So what do you appreciate about yourself? And you just tuned in, you want to participate, just not if you're driving, but go to my YouTube TV channel, Dr. Marissa Pay, P as in positive, EI, and at that streaming, you can type in your appreciation. What do you like about yourself? Okay, I appreciate my ability to be flexible 88% of the time and kind of adjust to situations. I appreciate my ability to apply creativity to my wardrobe. And yes, I am a fashionista and proud of it. 3, I appreciate my ability to be disciplined about my diet and exercise to try to get my body to where I can like it. Realistically, not back to modeling days, even though I want that. But I know this is an area that I need some work in because I grew up with a message that my body was fat and ugly. And so I have to work with that. And the number one thing I have to do is do what I can about working with my body. 4, I'm appreciative of my ability to laugh often and much. 5, I appreciate my ability to really enjoy the deliciousness of life. Yes, I am a foodie. And even when I'm eating something I know I shouldn't, I don't think about that and I'm one with my food. Some of you have seen that funny part on my social, Doc Balance on Instagram and Dr. Marissa everywhere else. 6, I appreciate my ability to appreciate self and others. 7, I appreciate my ability to see the world almost with the eyes of new, like new pair of glasses, constantly looking at things and looking for the way they delight me. And then finally, I appreciate my ability to let stuff go a little more easily these days. And I call it CFL, It's my new discipline. Come from love, and don't stay in annoyance. All right, that's it for breakfast with Dr. Marissa. Let's see if I can't find that applause. And here we go. All righty, that is breakfast with Dr. Marissa this rainy morning here in Southern California. And we are talking about hope. Last week, if you were here, we were talking about grief and loss and how to heal from that. So I thought for this week, I would go to the other end and talk about hope. And hope is one of those words that sounds like what it is. I love that. Hope is turning the corner from pessimism or, negative, what is it? Debbie Downer, Eeyore, worry, wart, all of those things that sometimes are habits for us. And when we are like that, we don't do ourselves any favors. We also have a tendency to, attract more negativity. And that is something that is based on the law of attraction. And we don't want to do that because we do have the power to create our reality. And that is why, it's how I'm multitasking here. Let's see, save. There we go. That's what I forgot to do. All right. So in order to do that, I thought I would bring out, so go get your popcorn, a inspirational short film that is just a little over 9 minutes. And we're going to watch it and talk about it because it really does challenge us to look at the world in a different way. And as painful and as, a lot of people lost a lot of stuff, including their lives, no thanks to COVID. That period is somewhat over, but I don't want us to lose the opportunity to look at our lives in a little bit of a different way. So that's what we're doing today. And so I'm going to pull that up, and you're welcome to chat in the where we have your comments. And that way we can have a discussion about it afterwards. But on a scale of 1 to 10, how hopeful are you right now? 10 being off the charts, you're full of hope. And let's see, and 0, you are feeling truly hopeless. So hopefully, pun intended, nobody's feeling 0. But if you are, admit that you are and see if you can take a look at this and see if you are able to find a little bit of relief from the hopelessness. Here we go. And this is it. And full screen. It's been a tough, horrible, unanticipated, unprepared for. been a tough, horrible, unanticipated, unprepared for, crappy year called the pandemic. But before we rush back to normal, a normal where there were a lot of overworked, underpaid, angry, frustrated, and depressed people who hated their jobs and lived for their weekends, can we consider a new normal? Take a breath with me. And consider a new PPP, post-pandemic possibilities. What if?
It's officially time for me to start picking my wedding invitations, which I just can't even believe how fast the time is going. So I decided to order 3 sample wedding.
Conforming to the world was exploring the world. What if the question, what do you want to be when you grow up, little girl, turns into, how many streets of life do you want to explore? What if there was another way to grow up believing in yourself so that you don't have to attend the school of hard knocks? What if the current push to do well in subjects that you are not good at, or choose a school that you can't afford, or to declare a major when you are still a minor in life, are not the pressures that cook us raw? What if there was another career path where words like rat race and dog eat dog and climbing or clawing our way to the top are not in our career ladder vocabulary? What if big business control and imbalance, resulting in people stuck in jobs they hate, contributing to dreams that are not their own, were BS belief systems that had to be called out? Like cookies that had to be deleted in a mind browser. What if the lesson in the pandemic is that the trajectory that we have been on needs a hard reset? What if the real virus in our society is currently structured to help a few and hurt many? What if we could say, help our own and help others in the same breath? What if we grew up with global patriotism instead of warring nationalism, and not afraid of helping socialism? What if we were taught how to see past skin color and learn how to value others for who they are? What if you were taught how to value who you are, especially when value was not found growing up at home? What if I knew I was important without anyone telling me? What if I knew that I was of value so that I didn't have to go around asking people to appraise me? What if world peace started with an okayness with ourselves, who we are, and what we think in the imperfect, perfect persona that we splatter on this world? What if we learned self-care skills so that we wouldn't thrash about so much when we were in the middle of the dis-ease with life? What if we could care for others without hurting myself? What if we valued ourselves enough to take care of our own selves, our body, our mind, and our soul? What if we each took responsibility for our own choices and quit blaming others when we insist on dragging our past along with us as an excuse to behave badly? What if we learned relationship skills as soon as we learned addition, subtraction, and how to dissect a frog? What if we knew that all life was valuable, even when we disagreed on how people were living? What if we cut people some more slack when we know they should know better, but because of their own humanness, they temporarily missed a take? What if the purpose of life is not to die with the most toys to leave our squabbling relatives? What if the purpose of life was to do things that we enjoy most of the time, have relationships that we enjoy most of the time, and use our unique talents, gifts, and abilities to fully express in the dash between birth and death?
What if there is nothing to be afraid of? What if everything that happens to us is for our divine and best good, even if it doesn't feel good? What if death is not that big of a deal? What if the concept of death is not the hill we want to die on? What if tragedy is not really tragic? What if people dying in tragedy has purpose in releasing more love that we may have trapped inside our minds and our bodies? What if challenges that we face because of skin color or physical limitations or gender or our differences are all conditions that can grow and chisel and elevate us into the most magnificent of sculptures? What if I can turn every single bad, shitty thing that ever happened to me into rich fertilizer to birth and grow all of the potential that I was born with? What if life does not suck? What if I knew I was one of a kind wonderful, that I had a unique gift, talent, and ability to unleash on life one glorious year, day, month, and season of life? What if, as a direct result of this horrible pandemic, we could rise out of the ashes with the new PPP, post-pandemic possibilities? Well, you can. You can rise. You can live in my what if. It just starts with choosing happiness, choosing to love this thing called life, and drop the rock of BS belief systems that have tricked you into thinking that you are not enough. Because all of this is possible if you choose to believe in you first and foremost. Because the buck stops right over here with you, with me, and with us. The sooner you turn "it's impossible" to "I'm possible," the what ifs become possible too. Because you are loving, lovable, and loved, wrapped in a warm blanket of worthiness. But it may start with getting out of bed and making it. What if starts with you. Hi, I'm Dr. Marissa, broadcasting live from this thing called life, trying to get you to drink my rose-colored Kool-Aid and join my Happy 88 mission, 88 million more happy people in the next 8 years.
All right. Did you enjoy that? I hope you're still there, Orville. I've been meaning to have you see that to write a review, and Frank as well. I think that was the first time seeing it, and I'm glad that I thought to share that with you for Mental Health Matters Mondays, because, man, I feel better listening to myself with that. And the story behind that script was I woke up with that, actually, all those words one morning during the pandemic, early on in the pandemic. And I had gone to sleep sort of semi feeling sorry for myself because yet again another motivational speaking gig had been canceled. And so I just watched my year kind of implode with all the things that had been planned, and, you know, my impacting finances, certainly. And but everybody was in that boat. And so I was like, okay, what now, brown cow, since I'm not going to be traveling and speaking and all of that. And the book tour was cut short and all of that. So I woke up with those questions, the what if there was like a hashtag COVID silver lining? What if this was whatever, Mother's Nature way of getting us to, stop and smell the roses and the fertilizer? What if this was, a time to re-examine what our priorities are, what really matters? And then all those words came out. And so hopefully PJ's driving. So yes, please don't put anything in the comments anymore. But those words, and I read them to a friend of mine, and she's like, oh my God, I have to send this to the station because the words are so powerful. And I said, no, don't, as a poem, I actually was somewhat inspired to write this. I had just watched the inauguration of President Biden, and Amanda Gorman, I believe is her name. She was the junior young poet laureate, and her words just really inspired the heck out of me. And so I think that also led to, the way that I wrote all of that. And I told my friend, no, I want to give a try for filmmaking, which actually, it was kind of funny. About the same time, I got contacted by Meta, and they said, would you like to be a digital creator? And, photography and making, videos was just like a hobby and kind of fun, just part and parcel of what I have to do or get to do in the role that I'm in, with people on social. So I'm like, what is that? What's a digital creator? And they said, just keep doing what you're doing and we'll pay you. And I'm like, okay, I like that. So I realized that this is an area that I enjoy doing, and I had a particular skill in doing it. So that was a great hashtag COVID silver lining, making films. And so I wanted to put clips to the script that I had woken up with. So that's how that short film came to be. And I'm grateful and appreciative that I recognized it was something that I like to do and have continued with it. I know that Frank has seen my latest one. If you haven't seen it, A Road to Race, a candid interview with Caldwell Williams. That's also on my YouTube. It's a longer film, and it's for anyone who's interested in looking at racism without talking about white privilege. So that's the teaser for you to go and watch that. And all of this is free on my free subscribe YouTube channel. And if you just tuned in and you're wondering what's going on, you just missed my first short film, which you can easily get to watch again. It is free. Subscribe on my YouTube channel. And this is Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on NBC News Radio, KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, the station that leaves no listener behind. And it is Monday, Mental Health Matters, the series that helps you with your happiness, with Happy 88 tools and an AsianOprah giveaway every Monday of my #1 bestseller, 8 Ways to Happiness from Wherever You Are audiobook. So if you go to drmarissa.life, which is my home in cyberspace, then you can just put your email there and I'll send you a promo code to get a free audiobook copy. And I wanted to talk about hope. And that film that I just showed is my flagship product, so to speak, although you can get it for free, on inspiring some hope. And hopefully your hope number is up from what it was. And I wanted to look at some of those things that are introduced in the film as a way of moving you from hopelessness to hope. So we'll start with one of the things that really hurts people in their ability to have good mental health is a bad relationship with the person that you are supposed to till death do us part. And if you remember the part in the short film about one of my favorite parts of that film was that little white angry dog. So I should have asked you, Frank, you can put in what your favorite parts of that was, and we'll see if it matches my favorite parts. But one of the reasons why we have hopelessness when it comes to our relationships is because we have, one, an unrealistic expectation of unconditional love. So this is a big one. I do relationship coaching, even though I'm not in a relationship and haven't had one in 7 years, but that's why the show's called Take My Advice. I'm not using it, but I am dating again, so we're back on that horse. But when people come to me and they begin to point fingers and they don't do this and they do that and they cheated or they da 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 da, and they said they would always love me. They said that they would be, my prince. They said that that was the expectation. They said, he was supposed to complete me. And I'm saying it that way because it is a lot of times the woman that comes to me and is complaining about the guy. Not always, but most, and then they drag in the guy. And I ask some questions like, when was the last time you had sex? And when was the last time you gave a compliment to your man? When was the last time that you appreciated the other person in words? And what's the ratio between criticism to compliments? So usually it's 1 compliment to 7 criticisms. And my Happy 88 tool is actually 7-to-1, which is 7 compliments to 1 criticism. And you try that for 30 days and see what happens. But underlying that is a BS belief system that somehow your intimate relationship should complete you. That we've set ourselves up with society and with religion, the till death do us part, and that you love me no matter what. And that is almost always going to lead to unmet expectations. And why all the global thought teachers that are around today have emphasized the importance of self-love is, in my opinion, the reason where we took a left and are in so much pain instead of taking a right. So if you take ownership of your own ability to love unconditionally yourself, which is impossible, by the way. Dogs, I think, are the closest beings that are able to do unconditional love. That's why I call them unconditional dogs. I think that people, it's almost impossible. We are conditional. We are brought up conditional. If you do this, I'll be happy. If you do that, I'll be happy. If you don't do that, I'm going to be unhappy. So we're taught that there are conditions to loving, and that we have to behave or say or perform in order to get that love. And that's the first fork in the road where we go left, and right would be actually the first thing is we actually know when we are true to who we really are, which is a precious child in a friendly universe. And when we do things that don't feel good, that we're not aligned. And we have that internal system that we can listen to, but oftentimes we replace that knowing with our parents or our teachers or looking for Mr. Right or Mrs. Right. And that's that fork that takes us down this path where we're constantly looking for love in all the wrong places. We're constantly looking for validation and to be liked and to be appreciated, to be put on a pedestal. And that path leads us to this, when you realize that the person that you thought was going to be with you and was supposed to love you unconditionally and then somehow leaves, then we fall apart because we now don't have a foundation of who we are. We are whatever we are to that person. And it's not just love mates. It can be, that's why empty nester and feeling completely lost when our kids go to college is we have defined ourselves based on what we do for other people. So it's a definitional existence. I am a mom. I am a whatever your occupation is. I am a wife or a husband or a partner. I am a teacher. Whatever you define yourself is defined in how you do something for someone else. So if you screw up in it, or if you no longer need it in it, you fall apart. And the Happy 88 tool that I have you work through in the book is, who are you at the core of who you are? And that is the key that turns into hope, because if you know who you are, regardless of what you do or what you say or the role you're playing for other people, then when that changes, it's not a big deal. And when people leave you, it's not that big of a deal. I mean, it is a big deal, but you can recover from that because you return to knowing who you really are. So the part in the film, I wonder if it's kind of too hard to go back, but I'm going to refer to some of the spots in the film that are hope restorers. So along that lines, a lot of us define ourselves in what we do in our jobs. And as I alluded to in the film, before the pandemic, a lot of people hated their jobs. And that still continues. Even seeing layoffs as a bad thing. It's interesting. I have clients who hate their job, and then when they get laid off, they're upset. And I'm like, didn't you hate that job? So sometimes, and I have a lot of clients who, end up, because they were laid off or fired, it's like forcing them to look and explore at other things, and then end up finding something that they absolutely love, and they also make money from it, enough money. Doesn't always have to be less money, but it was thanks to that thing that they didn't like or saw as horrific to make them turn that corner. So it really, really is one of those questions that I ask all of you. Let's do it now. How much do you love what you do for a living? If you say 8 out of 10 is the average, I'm saying good for you. Stay in that. That's 8 out of 10 is really great. Anybody that loves their job 100% of the time isn't really doing anything, because you're not going to like everything. It's like no one can be 100% happy because you don't have contrast. So do you love what you do 88% of the time? And if that answer is yes, fabulous. Continue to focus on what you like. Don't spend too much time talking or focusing on what you don't like. And then you will continue to attract situations that further you in what you're doing. So that's in your job. If it's 20% of the time you like it, and you only like your job because one, the paycheck, and two, the people you work with, it might be time to look at what else you want to do. What other possibilities are there in life? And this is where, again, I'm gonna hit one of the BS belief systems that we grow up with that are absolutely horse manure. And I actually wrote about this. I used to have a column in The Sun, which in Seal Beach is the paper, and it was called Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa. And I went shopping at one of the stores on Main Street a couple years ago, and I was recognized by the store clerk, and she's like, "Oh, right by the cash register is my face and the article that I think the owner has that article there, and it was one of my most popular articles, which was that our education system is a little warped and pressure cooking, which is the words that I used in the short film, that pressure for kids to pick a major when they're a minor and they don't even know what they want to be is not helpful in society. The fact that, when as soon as you're like 5 or 6, people are asking you, so what do you want to be when you grow up? And you learn to say things like doctor or lawyer, and people are like, oh, impressed. And then you work towards that, or you start in high school, again, what's your major? Where do you want to go to school? And I don't know many, young teens or early 20s who really have explored enough to know what they are good at and what they like to do. But the force that we put on kids to choose something to graduate in, because you've already done 2 years, and even if you don't like what you do, you might as well go. We paid a lot of money to do that, and they end up having a degree that they don't even want to do. I just bumped into that with a new friend last night. We were talking about, majors. It's in finance, but I hate it. But you got a degree in it, so you have to do that. And if you don't go in there, you're seen as not knowing what you want to do and disappointing people. And it's such that pressure cooker, and it's not fair, and it's not reflective of what we're here in life to do. So that whole model that we grow up in, you can only do one thing, you have to get good at it, jack of all trades, master of none, work in a job even that you hate because that's how you make the most money, and suck it up and just live for your weekends, and just it's a job. You're lucky you have a job. And it's such a stranglehold for everyone who is living, because as far as I know, I'm not positive. My theory is we come from love and that energy of love, and when we die, we go to that energy of love. I'm not sure positive, but I do know that this here is the thing called life, and there is the beginning called birth, and there is the end called death. And who was the boss of hijacking our minds to believe that the only thing life has is to be born and then be forced into something that we may not even like, and to make money to try to keep up with the Joneses, and to go on vacation 2 weeks out of 52, and then die and leave our material things to relatives who fight over it. Like that, to me, like, how did that become the American dream? How did that become what we all are slaving towards. I just, like, who made that rule? Like, how did that happen? So I wanted to use the pandemic to shake up that BS, that belief system, and say, okay, let's challenge every one of those BS. One is that you can only do one thing in life. You can only have one major career in life. Who says? Who says? Who says that we can only be good at one thing in our lives? Who says? And who says that we have to do what we went to school for? Isn't school the opportunity for us to try different things, to experience different things? I get to work with teens. I love working with teens. Go and explore, right? If you ask someone, take them out to lunch, to interview them on what it's like to be a real accountant, to be what it's like to be really, climbing the ladder in an organization, what it's like to be an entrepreneur, what it's like to be a scientist, what it's like to be a carpenter, what it's like to become a retail manager. All of those things are worth exploring when we're in school, when we are trying things. What am I good at? What do I like? Try everything. That's my, don't die wondering. And if we allowed our kids to explore without forcing them or seeing them as slackers, and kids, you got to take some responsibility here. If you're really good at computer games, there's actually ways to make money playing computer games, but there is also a balance between what I love to do and also exploring to see what kind of money energy you can get in different things that you like to do. But that exploration is not the norm when it comes to school. When we think about school, we're funneling people, forcing them to choose one thing and then forcing them to stay with that one thing. So 2 BS systems right there that I am challenging you to reconsider. Since I want to make sure the stream is time-wise. Okay, so that's one, two BSs. The third BS is Book of Romance. So relationships, and I started with that. I think I meandered off into work. But another BS is there's only one soulmate. There's only one person. There's only one twin flame. There's only one person. Come on, folks. 8 billion people, and there's only one person that you match with for one lifetime? What if they die? Right? Is that it? It's over? So again, another BS belief system, and divorce is wrong, and you should stay no matter what, and it's not good for your kids. Another thing that just strips away at your soul if that person isn't the one that brings out the best in you, and vice versa. So again, another thing we are taught, one person, one soulmate, and then if you marry them, till death do you part. I think that thing is so maudlin that the reward for being with someone is to die. That again is another BS. What is a more, I think, happy making, hope inspiring BS belief system for relationships is you have chapters in your book of romance. You attract people where you are. I attracted someone when I was not loving myself who didn't love me. Surprise, surprise. So this journey of life, as you begin to love yourself first, will change what you bring into your life. So again, another BS belief system that I challenge in the short film PPP, Post-Pandemic Possibilities. So hopefully I have challenged you on some of the belief systems that screw up your mental health. and get you into that place of hopelessness. And hopefully you're considering re-examining some of that and getting in touch with why you're unhappy. I think that's the first step that maybe I didn't stress enough, but really every day, am I happy right now? Am I 88% happy right now? And if not, what BS belief systems are lowering that number? And when I'm cognizant and aware, then I can do something about it. Capiche? Okay. Thank you so much for tuning in today and being a wonderful audience for my Mental Health Matters Mondays. Please go do free subscribe to my YouTube channel where you will get access to this show, 1101 and more. I'll be broadcasting live from Vegas for the next 3 days, so continue to tune in. And go to drmarissa.life to get your free audiobook version of 8 Ways to Happiness. And I will see you from Vegas. If you are in Vegas or nearby, or you want to go to Vegas and you've been looking for a reason to go, I'd like you to, let's see if I can do this really quickly. United Natives. Go to United Natives, and that is where I am going for the rest of the week. And you can see quickly, I'm in my last minute, but this is where I'm going, and you can support our Native Americans and United Natives with me. And that's it for today. You know it's all about balance, peace in, peace out, world peace through, inner peace. Now go and have the best day ever. We'll see you tomorrow.